earlier tonight, and Sean, I'll have you react to this. Someone asked Bill Self, Coach, you went 11 deep, you know, and you went small in the second half. How much just going small, like that's the way you're going to be? And Bill Self goes, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do in our next game. Like I'm not at this level of like, oh, what I did tonight is now who I am, right?
Amen. Yeah. And to my comments earlier, Kansas leaves Madison Square Garden with a huge win. He learns that much more about their team. If you follow their schedule, now they have 3 or 4 games in about a 14-day window in which they can practice, stay in Lawrence, Kansas. They're going to be the heavy favorites in those home games, and that'll spur them into early December. But watching Kansas, watching Duke tonight, not to take anything away from Kentucky's, great effort. I think Kentucky's going to be obviously not only much improved from a year ago, but an excellent team. Michigan State, as we all know, they get better as the season goes on. But Duke and Kansas really stood out. Shifting to that game, Kansas's depth was also very impressive, like Duke's. They had guys that made plays throughout. And Remy Martin, who I'm very familiar with, what he did tonight, that's kind of like his MO. He has gone scoreless or had quiet first halves throughout his career at Arizona State. He had 0 points in tonight's game. He ends up with 15 points in the second half. 15 points in the second half, it's pretty hard to do, especially against Michigan State. But he has that explosiveness scoring. And if you think about Dotson a couple years ago, when he was at his best, Kansas had, I think, a team that could have won the national championship. Remy Martin's ability to score in bunches, score at the rim. I think Bill Self has always been excellent with that type of guard. And I think Remy Martin will continue to develop with Kansas's system.
Do you guys think that he can be that kind of distributor, the guy that sets the table for everybody on Kansas? Because that's always been my biggest concern ever since he committed to Kansas. I don't know if he can do it, but there were times. What I thought was really impressive, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, is just that he kind of let the game come to him, right? That's the point that you were kind of making a little bit, Sean. And then once they needed a bucket, he was able to make a couple plays on the stretch. He had that one shot, that long two right before the shot clock went off. So it's kind of, you get down to, you need a basket. He can do that. And I don't know if Kansas has another guy that can do some of the things he could do.
Rob, he can drive both coaches crazy. He's got his own coach crazy, and he definitely can drive the other coach crazy. But here's the thing about Remy. In his first 3 years at Arizona State, he led them to the NCAA tournament. I don't know if another program was decimated more by COVID than ASU was last year. Take that with a grain of salt. And I believe he still led the Pac-12 in scoring. He beat Kansas twice in his career playing for Arizona State. You talk about a guy who doesn't shy from the big moment. He's that type of player. And I think that Kansas will benefit quite a bit throughout the year, because the one thing about Bill Self, Remy will drive him a lot less crazy and the other coach more crazy as this deal keeps going.
I think the line of the night from the Garden, like that line that says that wasn't just coach speak, and Bill Self is great for this. He said, I don't think Remy Martin even realizes today just how much being in our system is going to help him.
He will. And, he did a great job at ASU. I mean, Bobby Hurley allowed him to grow. And I think that Remy Martin will be the first person to tell you that as his game progressed, the freedom that he was given from day one, and as he grew older, it's part of what's made him the type of player that he is, as now Kansas inherits him. However, some of the things that he'll do with a better cast around him, no doubt playing both sides, gambling less on defense, using his quickness more within a system, it could lead Kansas deep into this year's NCAA tournament. But like I said, for me, watching Duke and watching Kansas, those are two teams, they're going to withstand the test of time this season. Keeping in mind, Kansas playing without Jalen Wilson, I mean, that also I thought was really remarkable to think about how well they played without him.
But their freshmen really stepped up down the stretch, even late first half when they went on a little surge defensively, made some key plays. down the stretch in that first half, and then the momentum seemed to carry over. And for the Jayhawks, Ochai, it was his night. Agbaji had the night, and I
Player.
could not have been more impressed. And how about this? He told our Jeff Goodman he was this close to leaving for the NBA draft.
Yeah, that's the best recruit Kansas got right there. Sometimes retaining a player who's in that decision-making mode and allowing him to return to do what he did tonight, career high 29 points. That's what this is all about. But no question, we talked earlier about the two freshmen at Duke. This is different for Kansas because he's not a freshman, but Agbaji was a tremendous player tonight.
What's interesting about with a guy coming back like that is a lot of times they will be playing to try to make themselves a better NBA prospect as opposed to playing to try to make themselves better for what their team is going to ask them to do, right? They're going to play towards the draft. They're going to play to develop, to show that they can be a passer or be a shooter or whatever it ends up being. It feels like Agbaji just got better at doing what he needed to do for Kansas to win. Is that fair? Am I right on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most important thing. There's the right reasons to come back and the wrong reasons to come back. And you can tell that he's completely in tune with how they play. They're so comfortable, even with bodies. It's the one thing Kansas has always been so impressive with. They're so comfortable on offense. They're very confident on offense as a group. They move, they cut, they move the ball. And, he played right within the framework. There wasn't a whole lot of crazy, just outlandish individual plays that he made. And